Greetings. My name is Siobhan. I am an activated and illumined Blu-ray twin flame source angelic, free of interference in the form of entities. So I wanted to take the moment, I was getting messages this morning and thought it was important or was inspired to give this message, which will likely be a two-part video. So this one will be short. So today I want to discuss interference, also known as distortion. Interference, by the way of distortion, is a dense energy. Also causes confusion, chaos, and destruction. So interference as a dense energy, often also as entities, it is necessary to heal for the ascension process. So when we are elevating, healing, clearing, transmuting these dense energies and these entities, it allows for the ascension process to take place. As long as these dense energies are present, they will slow your ascension process. It is like trying to fly when you have weights on your ankles. This is why healing is so necessary and imperative. And actually, it is the process. The ascension process is healing. Like the purpose of disclosure and awareness is to help you to become aware of a situation or a circumstance or a process or the illusion. But once you become aware, what do? You start healing. You start communicating clearer with your guides, because now you understand you're more than just your physical body. There's a lot more to life in the multiverse. So you start clearing these channels. You start clearing this dense energy so that you may raise your vibration. You cannot raise your vibration with dense energies, entities, and trauma. It's not going to happen. Or even karma, it's not going to happen. Or it's going to be extremely slow. So I had the awareness years ago. This process can go as fast as I want it to go. That's what free will is, to operate in any level of light and healing and love that you like. We are so free. We can choose bondage, chaos, confusion, or you can choose freedom, light, and clarity. If you are still operating in confusion, a level of healing is needed. If you're still operating from trauma and fear, a level of healing is needed. If you still have trust issues, a level of healing is needed. Because once you start healing your heart, using your heart's discernment and able to communicate clearly, you don't fear anything. You have no need to not trust people because you can feel and sense their hearts. So discernment is a very beautiful, freeing tool to be able to use. And even with discernment, you know who to interact with, you know who not to interact with, you know whose videos to listen to, whose videos not to listen to. Even with all the chaos and confusion that's on YouTube and all the information available. It's only chaotic and a whole bunch of information when you lack discernment. And it's not a judgment, but it is having the awareness that you have another tool available that you can strengthen and grow and develop and use. That way you don't have to even feel overwhelmed ever again. So ascension is one of moving out of the experiences or the energy that you used to operate in. How you used to operate, how humanity operates. They don't have to operate that way. They're just unaware that there's another choice. So awareness is key to the ascension process. But to actually raise your vibration, healing is needed. Not just awareness, healing. Because you have to clear yourself and heal yourself. So in Ascension, we are transmuting lower vibrational energy. One of the purposes of interference is only to slow your process. Now, if they are successful and can stop it, they'll try. That's the purpose. So they don't want you to become aware. They don't want you to activate yourself. This is why a lot of humanity, the majority of us, especially the strongest of us, are attacked at birth. Sometimes even in the womb if they can. But at birth, while your mother is giving birth to you, shortly after, before you can even walk. Why? Because that's really the only time that you're vulnerable. As children, when you experience trauma, they'll come in then. So really, have we even experienced life without interference? No. The majority of us have not experienced life without interference. Wouldn't it be so nice to move forward without this interference, without this confusion, without this chaos? Because it's a destructive energy and it slows you down. It clouds your judgment. It makes you fearful to act. So I want to give an example, because as within, so without. A lot of things that we experience, you see them physically as well, but there's an energetic root to it. So an example from college. I live in Ohio, by the way. My associate's degree is in nuclear medicine technology, so nuclear imaging. When I first was going to enroll in the program, the director of that program, even the counselors at the school, all of them told me, no, you won't likely get in, you shouldn't apply. If you do apply, you should still apply like for radiography, because there's a strong chance you won't get in. So then I kept asking, because my GPA was like, I don't know, a 3.9 or something. I'm like, so why do you feel I won't get in? Like, that's what I was trying to get into. Like, you're telling me not to do something, but you're not really telling me why I shouldn't. So the director kindly tried to explain that she felt her program was for basically white males, and I was neither. And I was like, that's interesting. But I knew what I wanted to do, so I only applied for the nuclear medicine imaging program, and I got in. That director was not happy about that. I really didn't realize it right away because I was only like 24, so, and I had never had an issue with the teacher. Like, all through school, teachers loved me. And my dad even jokes all the time. One of my teachers told him, and this is when I was taking medical technology, that she wished she had a whole class full of me. And he just thought that was the best statement, or ever, to hear that. So anyway, so I just wasn't used to having issues with teachers or instructors, things like that. So after a while, it did become apparent that she had an issue with me. I was still maintaining high GPA, pretty much all A's. Like, she tried to give me 2 B's like the first quarter, but I had learned how to take count of my own grades, so I knew they were both supposed to be A's. When I asked her about it, she basically just turned one into an A. So anyway, but still, I still was not aware of what she was doing or trying to do, So basically, she was interference. So, by myself, this is what I learned during this whole process, because she ended up getting me, she ended up trying to lower my grade, and when I reported it or asked for a hearing with the chairperson or whatever, she ended up getting angry that I reported her and failed me, which I had to go through this process that took a whole year just to get back in the program. So basically what I learned through in this process is, without interference, I would have went, graduated just fine, no issues, no problems. Because life is hard enough. Like, we study and we do things. Life is hard enough without interference. I took the time to study and pass those tests and get, some of the highest grades in the class often. But plainly I was getting A's in all the classes by myself without interference. So yes, do they raise the bar and make you jump higher, do all these things? Yes. But even when I got back in the program, which I was out for a whole year, and at this time I actually got really sick. I was put on these different meds and stuff like that. But it wasn't just her. I had other situations going on in life, so it was kind of like so it was overwhelming, put it that way. So anyway, when I went back, it's just like the initial zest that I had. Like, I still enjoyed the program. Like, I went through my clinicals. I loved what I was doing. But that trauma changed my experience of that program, of that school, and of life, really. And I still had to interact with her for like another 2 quarters, and she continued to mess with me until, of course, they gave her the option to resign. And even interacting with her, even though I did, interact with her minimally when I went back, I realized that she is just an unhappy, unhealed, unhealthy person. And that's the thing about people that hurt you or feel threatened by you, or threatened about your presence. They are operating from a fear perspective experience. And and that's the point of even being controlling. You're trying to control. And in one of my sessions, they were even talking about this this trauma that was unhealed from, and I'm talking about a long time ago, but from the Caucasian race. There's a trauma, and there's trauma in all of our races. But humanity inflicts trauma on itself. So, but initially from the Caucasian race, when they did not heal their trauma from being ruled by the Anunnaki, they did not heal their trauma, and they proceeded to interact with other groups of people. And the way that they felt it was necessary to protect themselves was to be dominating and aggressive and brutal. But they were also that way to themselves within their own races, or, their own race or their community, how they interacted with each other. And this is why we are here. Like angelics and starseeds are incarnating to every single race to heal the trauma. If you have not healed your trauma, you are not going to be of the highest light, hearing clearly from source. There's just no way, because that's the point of trauma, to cause chaos, confusion, and distortion. You are not a clear channel. Now, even with this trauma, even with this interference, it does help to develop certain things from a soul aspect, such as discernment, understanding, and compassion. So these are necessary things. It helps with your ascension. It helps with your soul evolution. It helps with healing humanity, because you have a better understanding, which is love. So, and also, I want to give another example. I've said this before. Even when I started my healing, because activations come in cycles. Like, you get more than one. You get activated to a higher level, higher knowing, higher skills, higher communications, whatever it is. But it's not just you're activated, you know everything. It don't work that way. It comes in waves and progression, and it's more fluid. It's way more fluid. Even the energy when it comes into the earth, even if we're told it's going to be on this day, it's way more fluid. It's not like they just hit a switch and, boom, there it is. It's way more fluid. So, so even when I got activated and went through my dark night of the soul, which is a huge purging of lower vibrational energy, I intensely began a healing process, a healing journey, where healing I knew it was a priority. I knew it was a priority. I know it is intuitively felt by me because of who I am on a multidimensional aspect, multidimensional level. So I knew, I focused on healing. And I'm not talking about just meditating sometimes or, but like a focus, intense focus on healing. Like, I know there's a way to heal this. I know there's a way to heal that. I'm going to do it. And I also asked for the guidance to do it, was open to doing that. So even when I began healing myself, I began taking herbs, eventually learned Reiki, meditation, all these things. I had raised my vibration enough to not have the symptoms of the entities present. So like when I had been diagnosed with atypical narcolepsy, REM disorder, sleep apnea, before that I had multiple other ones, anxiety, depression, blah, blah, blah. These are just, they're guessing. But the atypical narcolepsy, and plus they don't like you to dream, which is why I had narcolepsy, REM disorder, things like that. They don't want you to dream because you tap into your multidimensional self. And they definitely don't want you to remember what you're doing when you're not here. So basically, I had began dreaming again. I don't know how long I had went without dreaming. It had to be several years. I couldn't even remember the last time I had dreamt at this time. Now, this was 2011. So I began dreaming again once I started taking herbs and things like that. So yes, I had cleared up the symptoms from the entities that were causing the interference. Because without this interference, I would naturally be healthy, be clear, clarity, in tune, connected, communicating, things like that. Now, no matter how much interference you have, they cannot completely block your connection. But they can do a lot of damage. They can cause a lot of confusion. When you're in confusion, you have a hard time discerning truth from false, light from dark. Now, it can help you develop your discernment, but you don't want to keep them. Like once they serve their purpose, because it is a purpose from a soul level, you need to heal and receive the guidance to have them removed. So yeah, I had cleared the symptoms to where their destructive energy was not causing physical health concerns for me, and I wasn't so cloudy in the brain. Like I could literally see, feel, like it used to feel like a huge dark cloud literally on my brain. No matter how much I tried to sleep, it didn't help. But they were still present. The problem with them being still present is that they are waiting, hoping that you dip in your vibration, that you experience this huge trauma, waiting for their chance to rule again, talking as much as they can, hoping you'll listen. So there's no point to have them present. There's no point. It don't matter how much and then besides that, you can't raise your vibration that high with them present. Even if you are tapping in and receiving messages, you can operate at such a higher potential without them. So I even had one time at a job, because I used to work at a domestic violence shelter, a lady who had lice in her hair, because Source is always teaching me the simple example. Source is not complex. Can be. And that's the beauty of it. Because there's a micro and a macro, complex and simple. Can you understand both sides of it? All of it. The whole complexity and the simplicity. Can you understand it all at once, or are you still separating? Can you see the whole picture, or are you still trying to compartmentalize and look at certain parts? But this lady told me one day she had lice, and we have to assist them in removing their lice which I didn't understand this, because it's like if you have it, why wouldn't you want to remove it? Especially if you're aware of it. You see them, like, how are you okay walking around with this in your hair? But according to her, I didn't know much about lice, and they had to teach me how to remove them. But according to her, when she used RID, according to the instructions on the box or the bottle, it says that it kills them inside their shells, inside their eggs. So it kills them, but they still encourage you to remove them. But she did not see the point of going through the trouble to remove them if they're dead and they're not going to hatch. Well, firstly, according to that bottle, it says it kills them all. Secondly, that's just not hygienic. or preferable, or we just gonna see if something's still hatching, like, you know. So, you know, and that's why we help each other, you know. So we had to help her understand that's not okay or cool, and all the kids have it too. Like, no, that's not advisable. So you do want to remove them, is the point. Dead or not, causing interference or not, they're a dense energy that you don't need. And even when you transmute them, whatever light of yours they're living off of, because that's how they're there, they return it to you. I recently had a session where it was a group of them, and I'm thinking it was the root chakra, but whichever chakra it was, but it was a group of them. And they apologized upon their exit, but actually restored or started to heal her as they were leaving. But they restored her light to her, you know, and we're thankful that I assisted them to the light. So we are here to assist each other. That's what humanity is. Humanity is about uniting. Division, separation is about domination and control. As a humanity, we're here to assist each other. Yet, as a healer, I can assist you, but I cannot do your ascension for you. But we work together, and I trust that you will do your part. Just like you trust that I will do my part. And at one point, I was seeking assistance from someone else. And we still work together. Like, this is the point of the groups. Like, individuals come into groups, into communities, into, you know, then you form states, countries, you know, things like that, continents, whatever. But the individuals make up the collective. How do you heal the collective? People just want humanity to change. Okay, well, the individuals have to change. The individuals have to heal. The individuals heal the community. And that's what we're doing. That's why we're working together. And we're developing all these tools in the process. We're developing your discernment, your ability to discern, to receive guidance, and to know who to trust, or who not to, or who still needs healing. So, like I said, I'll do another video, likely after I have a session shortly. But I do want to let you know, tomorrow, I'm so excited, my master teacher, Rising Phoenix Aurora, is doing a public channeling of Dolores Cannon tomorrow, and I will be the questioner. So we still have about 24 hours. If you have questions, please submit them. If you have questions for Dolores Cannon, submit them. You can go to Aurora's website. You can go to my email or either one of our Facebook pages. However you interact or know us, or even put the messages at the bottom of this video, the questions. And that way we can send you the invite to make sure that you're invited and you can participate or view. But yes, submit questions. What questions do you have for Dolores Cannon? Also, August is coming to an end. This is like energetically, we can feel a change. There's some strong changes, some further purging. It also depends on where you are individually, what you're experiencing. So August, this is the last month I'm going to run this special for the $141 for an aura session. This is a 3 to 5 hour intense, life-changing session. So beautiful. The sessions are normally $222 and even more depending on which quantum healer you go to.